Hello and welcome to Finding Your North Star, the hgkc podcast series where we talk to prominent business people about their experiences and challenges of innovation. Since being appointed as a non-exec to the board of Somerset Chamber of Commerce, I've been excited to discover all the things that are going on in the county. So when thinking about the theme for this new series of podcasts, it was a relatively easy decision to focus on Somerset. Situated to the south of Bristol, extending from the mouth of the Severn to Devon in the south, and across the M5 to Wiltshire and Dorset in the east, Somerset is a county of contrasts. It's rural, but with one of the biggest concentrations of precision engineering in Europe. It's a county with a declining birth rate that many people retire to, but with opportunities for skilled work such as those offered at Hinkley Point C and by Agratas on the former Royal Ordnance Factory site that are turning Bridgwater into a boomtown. There's no university, but it has several highly innovative colleges such as the newly formed Somerset College Group and Yeovil that are contributing to skills development for young and old alike, but there's a skills crisis. Somerset presents a unique combination of challenges and opportunities. I'm Peter Quintana, and I'm delighted that in this podcast, we will be exploring Somerset with Harry Singer, CEO of Singer Instruments and chair of the Somerset Economic Strategy Board. So welcome, Harry. Great to see you. Great to meet you even.
Hi, Peter. I'm very excited to be here. Thanks very much for your invitation. It's an
My
honor.
pleasure. So on your website, you talk about your mission to accelerate science. Could I start by asking you to explain a little about how Singer Instruments does that, please?
Sure. So we accelerate science by empowering our customers with automation, which allows them to do more with less.
That's very succinct and very understandable. That's brilliant. Thank you so much.
No worries. Yeah, so we make robots for our biologists to automate some of the more mundane parts of wet lab and dry lab biology. They don't look humanoid. They haven't got arms and eyes, but they automate various tasks which you'd routinely do in the lab, and some tasks that you do in the lab that you just can't do by hand.
So are you exploring AI in the work that you're doing as well?
Oh, we'd be crazy not to, right? So the marriage of AI and biological information is really exciting. So biology is incredibly complicated, and we can't even pretend to really understand a small fraction of it because it's so complicated. AI is going to massively accelerate our understanding and our unraveling of these kind of mysteries.
Yeah, I think it's really exciting. My background career was in IT, starting back in the late 70s, and I had a tingle in the back of my neck when I first got involved in IT and realized what it could do. And I remember that exact same feeling when I started reading about ChatGPT. And ChatGPT is just generative AI, isn't it? All the autonomous innovation that's coming down the pipe is just going to be extraordinary, I think.
No, it's pretty cool. And it's for us, it's especially exciting because the importance of what our customers are doing. The world needs more biologists, more people to take inspiration from the natural world, which, by definition is renewable. We need to be inspired by that and harness some of the tricks of nature to make human habitation sustainable again. Only way to do that is to take what nature has developed naturally over millennia and harness that. Yes, that's what our customers are trying to do.
Excellent. So obviously was exploring your website, and I have to say it's not what I'd expect to see from a highly innovative microbiology research instrument manufacturing company. Although to be honest, I'm not sure what I would expect to see, but it's refreshing to see a site with real personality and a business that looks like it's deeply tied to place. Every member of your team in their photo looks like they're thoroughly enjoying their work. You're a long-established family firm, aren't you? Founded in 1934 by your grandfather, Arthur Singer. How has the identity of the company developed over that time? And is what it looks like today the stamp on the business that you've placed since you took over as CEO?
Yeah, interesting question. The business has always had a really strong culture. My grandfather was a real character. My father was a real character. So it started off with a really strong character in culture in the first place. It's pivoted. I think the culture has pivoted. I think what we provide our customers is pivoted as well. But as you said, yeah, we celebrated our 90th year last year. And yeah, it sounds like we should be a stuffy old company, right?
Not that.
But our culture just keeps on evolving. And what, yeah, as I said, what we supply to our customers evolves. But it takes work, right? To grow a culture, sustain a culture, and to have a culture, to maintain a culture with a growing team takes conscious effort. But I feel it's so important.
I think you're bucking the trend, actually, to be honest. It was really refreshing to have a wander around your website. And there's some of the language was a little bit beyond my ken, but I made it to O-level biology, so I didn't get very far
Yeah.
on that track. But I can see the importance and the depth of some of the things that you're doing. Somerset faces some real demographic challenges, like many rural counties. There's challenges that range from youth retention to an aging population, severe shortage of skills. You're located right in the southwestern corner of the county, aren't you? So how do you find the skills you need as you grow? Do you think your culture just attracts people to you, or are you training people, or how do you go about that problem for
Uh,
you?
Yeah, it's a good question. We are fortunate enough to live and work in a very beautiful part of the UK. We pinch ourselves. Our commute to work is glorious most of the time. And in 5 minutes' time, I can be kite surfing on the Bristol Channel or running on Exmoor. We're super lucky, but it's a double-edged sword, right? For our staff who like the outdoors. They love it around here. But for some of our younger staff who like more culture and a higher paced kind of city way of life, or whose partners struggle to get gainful employment around here, they struggle. So it's a double-edged sword. Recruitment is tough. So we need to employ every trick under the sun to attract people to work here and to retain our staff. So yeah, culture is really, really important to us. The type of work we do, the meaningful work that we do is really important to us. We reiterate that all the time to our staff. Look, you are making a global impact and helping accelerate science in over 60 countries around the world, helping on some really, really important biological issues which could make the planet a greener, more sustainable, cleaner, healthier place. So it's imperative that we keep reiterating that statement so our staff know how important their work is as well.
And having purpose is key to an engaged workforce. And if that purpose aligns with what the company is doing, then you've really solved that employee engagement challenge, haven't you? Because people want to work, they want to do what you want them to do without you having to really drive them to do that. They
Yeah,
just
that Simon Sinek-esque why you do what you do is super important.
yeah.
But people are also financially motivated. You know, you got to feed the family. So we like to think that we pay above average wages. We aspire to compete with the cities, with Bristol and London. We're not there yet, but we aspire to compete with them. And we got some modern working practices. We have a profit share scheme. So the company splits its profit with all of our staff. We have a staff ownership scheme, so staff can reinvest some of that profit share in company shares if they like, and probably 90% of our staff have own their own slice of the company.
Wow.
It's called profit share for nerds and equity for nerds. We are a bunch of nerds. We are lucky enough to do some really nerdy, cool high-tech work and live in an amazing part of the world at the same time.
Yeah. Couldn't get any better, really, could it? So,
Mm.
as chair of the Somerset Economic Strategy Board, what more do you think needs to be done to ensure that Somerset's residents, and particularly those in rural and coastal communities, can access opportunities like yours, the ones that you offer, but also the projects like Hinkley Point and Agritas?
So, how can youngsters access these opportunities? I think in the first instance, I take it as a personal responsibility. And I think a lot of other companies who employ techie staff should take it as their responsibility to help broaden the horizons of youngsters, not just those youngsters who grow up around here, but those who grow up wherever. I think horizon broadening is really important to show young people or help young people see the range of amazing things that are out there and achievable, not just on your doorstep, but further afield as well. So I
Yeah.
think horizon broadening is really, really important. I think internships and getting a flavor for work is really important. So I think it's our responsibility, as it should be other employers' responsibility, to offer as many placements, work experience, or internships as you possibly can, because you're investing not just in the potential future of your business, but in the potential future of the globe, because these youngsters will be running the place in not too far future.
Fair enough. How would you describe the current business environment in Somerset? What's working well? What are the persistent barriers to growth, innovation, or collaboration that you see?
What's working well and what are the barriers? What's working well is that we just happen to have some amazing opportunities in Somerset right now. There's good investment coming into Somerset, and we are possibly leading the country with regard to clean energy. Hinkley, obviously, the developments there in clean energy are really exciting. There's lots of investment there. There's the offshore wind developments. There's the gigafactory coming soon to Bridgewater. So we've got the opportunity, if we want to grab it, to lead the country in terms of its clean energy. So that's really exciting. What are the barriers to growth? The barriers to growth are access to bright, smart people. We don't have a university. In our area, some of the schools are struggling a little bit. There's affordable housing shortage.
Yeah.
We've struggled as a business to find premises as well. So there are plenty of barriers. But what we have got is some amazing opportunities and a council, a really progressive council, who have demonstrated that they really want to listen to local businesses and shape their strategy based on not what they think local businesses want, but what local businesses are actually saying. So we have a really proactive council right now who are bringing local businesses into the loop to help reduce these barriers to growth.
Yeah, I was at the Somerset Chamber of Great Southwest event a few weeks ago where Carl Tucker was speaking. He was talking about some of the things that you talked about, the green and the cyber and the mineral availability in Cornwall and so forth. But he was really quite challenged, I think, by the attitude of government to the Southwest. He said they describe us as mad as a box of frogs down here. But you think with everything that's going on, so your organisation, the aerospace cluster around Yeovil with Leonardo's and so forth, but they still think that manufacturing stops in Birmingham, and that's frustrating. That must be a source of frustration for you as well, isn't it?
It is that the Southwest doesn't get the recognition for its high-tech manufacture is a little bit frustrating. To be fair, Carl Tucker is as mad as a box of frogs, but
But
we
I
won't.
won't tell him you said that, even though I shall be interviewing him as well shortly.
No, he's a great guy fighting the right fight for our corner of the country, trying to get some recognition for the amazing work that goes on, not least in clean energy, but high-tech manufacture as well.
Mm, yeah, yeah, I agree. You said that there's no university here. I mean, the Bridgewater and Taunton have just rebadged themselves as University Somerset College Group, haven't they? That's not, I know they're not really a university, but they've just merged with Strode to form this bigger group for college, and they're doing some quite interesting things, particularly around nuclear, aren't they?
Oh, they're doing some really, really interesting things. Again, another fantastic opportunity. We've got some really, really proactive educational institutes led by some fantastic people who are talking to each other, engaging with local businesses like Hinkley, like us, and others. So yeah, again, it's part of this fantastic opportunity that we've got in the Southwest. Everyone can feel it. There's a good buzz. It's a great place to work, and those barriers are being smashed away one by one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm involved with Somerset Chamber, so I hear quite a lot of what's going on. I mean, I live in Frome, which is the other corner of Somerset from where you are, but I can see kind of down the county from here everything that's going on, and there's no doubt that the buzz around Bridgewater, boomtown Bridgewater. Who'd have thought that a few years ago? It's extraordinary, and it does make Somerset an extraordinary place to live, doesn't it?
No, we're so very lucky to live and work in such an amazing place. No, for
Yeah.
sure.
So I was talking to Sam Harper recently, who's one of the other podcasts that I've recorded, and Stantec clearly are involved in a lot of the construction work and the site development and so forth. And he said there's lots of sites around the M5 in particular that are either being developed or earmarked to develop. And a new junction, I think, at 24A, I think that's had approval now. So there is some exciting things still coming down the pipe, isn't there? So what do you think are the biggest opportunities for Somerset to achieve what's been set out in the economic growth strategy over the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, I think one of the biggest barriers to growth is with regard to the planning. It's been a point of friction for many businesses for many years. So I'm really excited to see some pressure coming from government to help reform the complexities of planning, and our local council are listening to that as well. I think that whole user experience, that journey a business goes through to, in the first instance, sniff out whether it's even feasible, all the way through to successful planning application and beyond, it completely needs to be reformed. So I'm really excited about that barrier being knocked down because I think it'll have a huge economic impact.
Yeah, there are lots of barriers to that as well, aren't there? Because again, part of the conversation I had with Sam talking about the balance between maintaining, the rural beauty of Somerset and still allowing for these investments and developments to go forward. And clearly they have to. We have a desperate need for affordable housing, as you said. And if we're going to achieve the potential for Somerset, then there has to be investment, and that means bringing people here, and people have to live in places. But nonetheless, we have to do that with care, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, even more difficult conversations are, you know what, if you want to lead the way in terms of clean, green energy, you might have to have some windmills in some places that
Yes.
some people think make those places a bit less attractive than they were previously. I don't know where our strategy sits on that, but they're difficult questions, aren't they? Because we want to live in a sustainable world, but if we're not prepared to have these clean green solutions on our doorstep, then I guess you can't have your cake and eat it, right?
No, no, it's very true. It's very true. So I want to just go back to the academic institutions. What role do you think academic institutions, innovation centres, research partnerships, such as I guess you are in a position to offer, should play in shaping the county's economic future? And do you think we're making the most of them today?
What role? Obviously, they train up the next generation of staff, so they have an incredibly important role. Not only that, but lots of academic institutions do a lot of fundamental research, which forms the foundational kind of pillars for translated technologies.
Yeah.
So that they're incredibly important. It allows companies like us to grow quickly if we know that there's a growing cohort of bright young sparks coming out of them. It helps us grow. Unfortunately, there aren't enough techs in the UK, let alone in our corner of the UK. So I will always be an advocate for growing academic institutions and doing our best to grow our ability to train people in STEM subjects.
We ran a roundtable on the challenges of STEM recruitment a few years back, and that message was loud and clear through that discussion as well. There just aren't enough people going into STEM, and quite a lot of them, when they finish their studies, don't actually go and work in the STEM sector at all. They go into accountancy or something like that, which is a shame. So I think there's still quite a lot that engineering and manufacturing businesses like yours need to do to attract them into places like yours.
Yeah. So there is a solution for that. So the biologists that we recruit, the types of biologists that we recruit are often their studies are funded by the BBSRC, who are the biological funding body. And the BBSRC funded biologists have to do a 3-month placement in industry.
Right. Okay.
And some of the biologists could never have imagined working in industry. So they have their eyes opened to what it's like to work in industry. And some of them are pleasantly surprised. Wow, it's not the scary place we thought it was. It's actually really good fun. And they get a flavor for what it's like to work not just in industry, but in industry in the Shire, so to speak. We get a flavor for what they're all about as well. And often they bring with them some really modern ways of working and thinking and passion and energy. So we gain a lot from these interactions. They gain a lot from these interactions. And often, if a position becomes available at Singer Instruments, they're the first people we call. And on the flip side, when they finish their research, their degree, their qualifications, we're the first people they call. So I'm a massive fan for short-term placements. I think it could work. We could leverage that across all levels of academia to get more youngsters dipping their toe into the water in diverse workplaces to get a flavor for it, broadening their horizons, at the same time injecting passion and energy into companies who might not otherwise get exposed to that, not just for biologists, but across all engineering, maths, and science disciplines. I
Yeah.
think that'd be really good.
Yeah, I completely agree. Okay, final question. What message would you like to send out to young people leaving school or university and thinking about the job market, and particularly thinking about the job market in Somerset?
Oh my gosh. What a question. What message would I give any youngster leaving university thinking about the job market?
Particularly in
Um,
Somerset, so it's close to home.
don't be afraid. Just give it a go. Apply, stretch yourself, go to those interviews, fail, embrace failure, embrace success. But most importantly, go for something you think you're going to really enjoy. It's so important. Work is such a big part of our lives. It makes me really, really sad when I talk to someone who's clearly very bright and has a high ceiling, but they're doing a job that they're not passionate about. So apply for things you're passionate about.
It's a really good answer. If I was listening to that, I'd definitely be interested.
It's very kind of you, Peter.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, look, that's been great. That seems like a good place. I'm sure we could probably talk about this for quite a while, but we have to end it there. So it just remains me to thank you, Harry, for joining me. It's been a real pleasure talking to you this afternoon.
That's been great fun. Thanks so much for the invitation. Yeah, what an honor. Thank you.
All right. So you can find out more about Singer Instruments and the work they're doing to accelerate science by visiting www.singerinstruments.com. If you'd like to find out more about hgkc and how we work with our clients on leadership, growth through innovation and preparation for exit, please visit our websites, www.hgkc.co.uk. And if you're not a member of Somerset Chamber of Commerce, well, I think you should be. Please visit the Chamber website to find out how the Chamber is supporting businesses across the county. Thank you for listening and goodbye.